Yes, it's been another month, and that means it's another review for this Redmi Note 12 Pro 5G. Last month, I did not include 5G in the title because there was only one Note 12 Pro from Redmi's lineup. But several days ago, Xiaomi announced the Redmi Note 12 Pro 4G in the Philippines, and I have some thoughts. By the way, I also made a 60-day review of the Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus variant, which you can check below in the description. So yes, if you remember the price of the Note 12 Pro 5G, this is what it looks like. Now, here's the price of the Note 12 Pro 4G. There is a significant price difference between the base models. There is no higher model of the 4G model, but it does come with an expandable microSD slot, so that's a nice alternative. So if that's the case, why should you even consider the more expensive 5G model when they're basically the same phone, the same name, and 5G isn't even widely available? Well, aside from benefiting from 5G connectivity, the main difference between the two models is the performance. The 5G model is porting a newer Dimensity 1080 while the 4G model is using a Snapdragon 732G, which is a chipset from 2021, which is the same chipset used by the Redmi Note 10 Pro. That chip used to be a good performer and an efficient one back then, but technology advances so fast that 2 years in the tech world feels like 5 to 6 years already. On the other end, the Dimensity 1080 provides more than enough prowess for what you need in a mid-range phone in 2023. I was using this phone and the Pro Plus model simultaneously to see if there was any difference, and for the last month, I did see a difference. For some reason, the Redmi Note 12 Pro 5G is a bit smoother than the Pro Plus 5G. It's not in any way faster than the Plus model since they have the same chipset, the same 120Hz refresh rate, and the same RAM and storage capacity. In fact, they even have the same software, which is MIUI 14 that's unfortunately still based on Android 12. Although on the Redmi Note 12 Pro 4G, it still runs Android 11 out of the box. But nevertheless, the Note 12 Pro just felt smoother and snappier. So whenever I open or switch to another app, or when I'm scrolling through Facebook, Twitter, and other social media apps, this phone maintains that 120Hz refresh rate most of the time and hardly lags or stutters. There were even times I thought I was using my Poco F3 given their similarities in day-to-day performance. Yes, I still use my F3 from time to time, but basically it just shows how good of a phone the Note 12 Pro 5G is from a general performance standpoint. But wait, how is this better than the 4G model since this is using a 50 megapixel main camera while the other is using 108 megapixel? You know how tech reviewers tell their viewers that it's not all about a number on paper when it comes to cameras? That applies here as well. 50 megapixel may look small on paper, but it's the newer sensor with newer features and better support from newer chipsets. Since camera performance on smartphones is half hardware and half software, the Note 12 Pro 5G may be even better in some areas except in detail quality. There's even OIS or hardware stabilization for sharper photos and stable videos, which is better than the electronic or software-based stabilization of the 4G model. Although I don't have the 4G model of this phone, I do have the Pro Plus sibling that has a 200 megapixel camera. And just like I said last time, I don't miss the 200 megapixel. 50 megapixel is more than enough in this price range. 50 megapixel is more than enough to give you sufficient detail and sharpness in your photos. And with an f1.9 aperture, your close-up shots or portrait shots will have that natural bokeh effect in the background. Just a couple of notes. There's still chromatic aberration or purple tinging in 50 megapixel mode, and auto HDR doesn't activate as often as I would like to. So expect your photos to be brighter than usual in some instances. But when this camera gets the exposure and HDR right, it's hard to fault the quality you get here. Maybe tone down the sharpening effect a little bit in HDR, but overall, nothing to complain much here. I was wrong about the battery though. Last time I said the battery was just okay or average, but it's actually very good considering I was playing Star Rail more in medium settings at 60 frames for at least an hour every day, and I consistently got 5 hours of screen time. So imagine if you don't play games that much and you're not stressing the chip that much, it's easy to average 6 to 7 hours of screen time with a 5000 mAh cell. I can't tell how the battery life is on the 4G model, but it does have the same capacity and the same 67-watt fast charger. The design, however, is a bit similar. They are squared, doesn't water splash resistant, presence of an audio jack, stereo speaker setup, and glass backing. But because the 4G model is a rebranded phone from the past, the 5G model is better by being lighter despite having the same thickness. It may be not much, but once you get to compare them in your hand side by side, it's hard not to be impressed with the lightweight build of the 5G model considering the specs. Overall, despite the lack of any major software upgrade, the Note 12 Pro 5G is a solid pickup to this date. Its strongest features are its cameras and the size of the phone with its big and bright display, as well as the impressive battery and fast charging in the chipset. I think it's an all-around phone, which makes it great for most people who just want a phone that's very good at everything. But if you're a gamer or someone who just wants better performance at a lower price tag, and you want the same set of features here and are willing to downgrade some of it, maybe you don't need 67 watts fast charging, maybe you don't need the latest camera, well, there's the Tecno Camon 20 Pro 5G. I've been hearing good things about that phone, and yes, the video review of it is coming very soon, so make sure you're subscribed to see that. And if you have questions about this phone or the upcoming Tecno Camon 20 Pro 5G, let me know in the comments and I'll try to include them in the videos. So that's it for this one. Drop a sub or like if you feel like supporting the channel, and as always, until the next one, stay safe.